quieres, pero nunca lo dirás. Y sé que has deseado dejarme de amar. Te llevo dentro de mi corazón como una extraña y sencilla pasión. Pero te hicieron de roca y no puedes, mujer consentida, escuchar el canto en esta canción.
Testing, testing. Testing, testing. Can you hear me on this microphone or which one? See? Okay. Just tell me when it's ready to go. Testing, testing, are we good? Is it live? Okay. Buenas tardes a todos. Good evening to everybody who's watching either virtually or también a los que están aquí con nosotros. My name is Katie Avinian. I'm the Executive Director here at El Colegio. Yo soy Miss Katie, la directora ejecutiva aquí en el colegio, y a sus órdenes. Before we begin, antes de comenzar, I want to recognize that we remember that we are in Black and Brown space on Native land. Antes de comenzar, quería reconocer que sí estamos en el espacio de Black and Brown space en la tierra indígena, ¿verdad? I'm very excited. Estoy súper emocionada for our annual senior presentations. Yo sé que todos están medio nerviosos, pero como quiera estamos contentos de tener todos aquí con nosotros. For those who don't know, the senior project gives our students the opportunity to tackle issues outside of their traditional curriculum, serving as a bridge between both high school and the high school classroom, and as well as the real world. Students critically analyze social justice issues that impact their lives and to inspire self-discovery and social responsibility. Este proyecto que van a estar los estudiantes les da la oportunidad de estudiar, investigar problemas afuera de sus estudios tradicionales, que sirve como una conexión de la escuela y el mundo real. Los estudiantes analizan críticamente un problema de justicia social que impacta sus vidas para inspirar el descubrimiento de sí misma, ¿verdad? So we're very excited today to be introducing our first presenter is Salma Belen Hernandez. So it'll be a minute here as Salma gets ready to come and do her presentation. Victoria. Oh, Victoria, perdóname. Entonces me da un placer que Victoria va a hacer su presentación primero on environmental injustice, injusticia de environmental. Pásale. Yep, and this one too. This is everything. You just stand here and then just speak that way. That's it. And you just put it on the okay? Can I go over here? You just speak where you're at. And then you're. Does she just click here? You can share this. Okay, I'll let you Oh. Okay, unplug it. Are you okay? It's okay. You can put yourself in Because here we don't have to use service. Environmental injustice, oppression in society, and our planet. How do you go to the next one? It's not working. How would we start it? Can we start it with it? Publicly. The mouse tablet. The mouse tablet. For the good times. Okay. Sorry. Understanding environmental racism. Environmental racism is a form of racism or prejudice in which the environment affects a certain group of people, depending on the community's income, typically minorities, and is caused by environmental issues, usually from large companies or industries. Racism and the environment. One may wonder how those two subjects can be connected, but the connection can become clear once you look at studies suggesting close relations between environmental pollution and the impact it causes. Why is environmental racism not widely known? While there are people that have a good understanding of environmental racism, those that don't make the argument that it isn't real and it's simply pollution of the earth. One example is the Michigan flood water crisis. In 2014, there was a water crisis in Michigan in which the water supply became contaminated with lead due to mishandling by officials. This led to contamination of many residents who were 58.7% people of color. Next is the sugar burning in Pahokee, Florida. In Pahokee, Florida, many residents in the area suffer from respiratory and or immunity issues due to the burning of sugar crops every October, which hits the predominantly Black community the hardest. And lastly is the Kingston coal ash disaster. In 2008, a large spill of coal ash took place in the Emory River channel in Kingston, Tennessee. The water carried the pollution downstream to Uniontown, Alabama, which was predominantly of low-income Black communities. Familiar statistics. Multiple studies regarding the pollution and chemical levels of people of low income / people of color share similar results. In the US alone, Black people are 54% more likely to be exposed to pollution through the air compared to the rest of the population. The University of Michigan study on hazardous industries. A study of the University of Michigan proved a point long debated of whether hazardous industries gravitate towards people of color or vice versa. The international study revealed that hazardous industries tend to gravitate towards people of color with lesser power. Pollution goes to the people. If the people moved in because the land was cheap, then you could argue that they got what they paid for. But the industries actually seek out poor communities of color. Industrial power over human beings. With this evidence, we can infer that large companies / industries are purposely targeting lower-income families and minorities due to their lack of power against such industries. Lemon's story. Lemon, a representative for the NAACP, tells a story about losing his mother in 2006 due to contamination of Joan syndrome. He believes it may have been caused due to her working near an incinerator. Joan syndrome. Joan syndrome is an autoimmune condition that predominantly affects the lungs. People who suffer from this condition are affected with fever, loss of appetite, muscle inflammation, and interstitial lung disease, which causes shortness of breath, coughing, and dysphagia. One of many real-life issues. The devastating effects are clear with communities. With people, it puts the effect in a different perspective. What can be done about environmental racism? What does it take for a community to fight back?
Understanding and educating. Before looking for a solution to a problem, it's important to first recognize and understand to take action. A community solution. A solid way to combat polluting companies and industries is to bring light to issues with said companies and spread it so other people are aware. Once we know about it, we can fight it. So before researching this issue, even I myself thought that environmental racism was kind of ridiculous, and there was no way that people were using the environment and pollution against people. Yeah, that's just a lesson. Thank you. So when I researched this, I was shocked and surprised that this was a real issue, and it's very important that people know about this because once we know about it, we can do something.
Have a Q&A session.
Oh, yeah, that's okay. Oops.
So si alguien tiene una pregunta, si anyone has a question,
There's a question here.
yeah.
Huh? Could you say that again? Oh, because it's well, it's a really big issue, and also like there wasn't really much like information when I was researching it, so that just means that like it's not very well known, and people need to know more about it so that we can, stop the issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can you chose this topic?
Because I really care about the environment. Like, I mean, I know that like a lot of people are like really focusing on like, race and all that, and I know like that's really, really important too, but I feel like we could also like talk more about the environment because there's so many terrible things happening with it too right now. So yeah.
My question is, what do you see yourself doing in the future?
Well, I don't have like a full on like answer to that, but I do know that like I feel like being like completing my major and being a biologist, I can try to understand the environment a little more. And that way I can help you more if I'm more aware of how things work.
You did it. And next we have Kevin. Ahora vamos a presentar a Kevin. This one is yours, yeah? You have speakers? Yeah. You have speakers. ¿Tienes otro que tiene? Okay.
Mm, aquí está la parte de los objetos.
My name is Kevin. Today I'm going to talk about climate change. My title is The End. Climate Change is a Bomb. I picked this title because uh, I saw the movie Ice S, although of diamonds that they lose their home. That's why I picked that. It's a real thing. Climate change brings us a huge discussion if it's real or not, but only lies and fools argue otherwise. I was one of those people that didn't think that climate change was real, and then when I started doing some research, and my mind changed, and then I started thinking about saving Earth. What's climate change in CO2? Okay. No sé, no lo puedo ver. Ah, sí. Pues, what's climate change and CO2? CO2 is emissions released into the air, allow light to pass, but trap the heat. Climate change is the increase of Earth average temperature and the change to weather patterns and the causes. Causes and effect. If we don't recycle more and use clean energy, we are done. We can say bye to Earth. The causes of global warming, pollution, burning fossil fuels, transportation, more pollution, and cutting down trees, and building more houses and stuff. Numbers of dioxide carbon. USA produced 4.57 million tons of carbon dioxide emissions in 2020. In 2019, USA produced 5.1 million of CO2. Problem. Climate change has been affecting animals too by melting worldwide ice. Effect. Ice melting worldwide can raise the sea level, flooding cities like New York, Miami, London, Iceland. Proof. United States is ranking in the 89 in this pollution index. American news. We can do anything we can. So have immaculate air and immaculate water. Trump said that he believes in climate change. I'm environmentalist, and I want the cleanest water on planet. I want the cleanest air anywhere. And we know that he's lying because he rolled back the Obama Clean Power Plan that limited carbon emissions so people can make more millions of dollars. Come back. Greenhouses play an important role in keeping the planet warm enough to inhabit, but the amount of these gases in our atmosphere has skyrocketed in recent decades. Forests and oceans absorb greenhouses from the atmosphere through photosynthesis and other processes. Earth oceans absorb between one quarter and one third of our fossil fuels emissions and are now 30% more acid on fire. According to the World Health Organization, climate change is expected to cause approximately 250,000 additional deaths per year by 2030 as global temperatures rise, the figures will get worse. The agriculture will be unstable. Let's go high price. In 2019, the planting season for North America farmers over 10 million acres crops was unplanted due to extreme weather and conditions. Some solutions: recycle, reuse plastic bags, plant trees, use electric fans, solar panels, and yeah. that's it. Um,
Anyone agree with that, Dr. Kennedy? Does anyone have questions? ¿Por qué es diferente el tema?
Porque le vi una película a Iceberg, los animales que quieren su hogar, por eso lo estudio. Porque estamos haciendo que los animales que se parezcan destruyendo sus hogares y no estamos pensando en ellos, solo pensamos en conseguir más dinero. Pues,
¿Otra pregunta?
¿el qué? No lo escucho.
So how do you know the answers to the future?
Es que lo he buscado y estamos viendo ahorita que pues, ahorita hace mucho calor y no llueve. Pues, como en China, están viviendo con máscaras porque su aire está bien contaminado y ya no tienen solución. Están pidiendo una solución para tener el aire y vamos a seguir con ellos si no tenemos una solución. Vamos a vivir con las máscaras por mucho tiempo.
We have a question from Facebook. Mr. Mike asks, you said you used to not believe in climate change. What is the biggest and most convincing evidence you found to change your mind?
No, la verdad, no sé.
Pues, ¿cómo te cambiaste de tu manera de pensar?
Porque vi en las noticias que los animales en su estómago tienen demasiada basura que nosotros tiramos al mar y los estamos matando. Y no pensamos en los sentimientos que ellos tienen. Eso es como.
Eso es lo que te hizo cambiar tu opinión.
Ujú.
Gracias.
Good job, buen trabajo. Share screen, sorry. Y ahora,
Is it my presenting? I mean, I'm here. Para cambiarlo, es aquí. Okay. Bien, aquí. Okay. Muy bien, adelante.
Okay, hello, my name is Salma Belen Hernandez, and today I'm going to be presenting Lima on the Streets. sex trafficking in Mexico. So the news. Every day there's a newspaper with different faces of different women who are lost. Many of those women have been kidnapped to be sexual slaves. Something common in society. Sexual assault and sexual trafficking are all too common in our society, and things like this are more often to happen in Mexico due to the lack of security of the government and local police. Mexico streets. Walking by the streets, you would often see lines of women waiting for a man. Some people would think that those women are there by their own will, but the sad thing is that many of the women have been kidnapped or they are being threatened. And I think this is something that all of us do. So just we see those people there in the streets, and the first thing that came to our mind is like, oh, they went to get his money. And I think that's something, that we have to do, and it's important to change. Family business. Sex trafficking is one of the major business after drug trafficking in Mexico, and it can be familiar, meaning entire families work on this. Now I have a graph here, and I know it has a lot of information, but so the top part it shows the percentage of sex or people trafficking in those countries and around the world. And then in the left side, we have the victims, like the percentage, like adult women and men, kids and girls. And then in the right side, we have for what they're using those people who they kidnap. And then as we can see, we have the highest percentage, which is sexual exploitation. So as the graph says, we are vulnerable. Kids and men are involved in sex trafficking, and they are victims too. And Mexico has a lot of cases reported about kids and men. They are missing, but females are more vulnerable into the eyes of these people, and also the most requested for those people who go there to those kind of places. The internet now has become one of the essential things for the human being, and it is indispensable for us. But just as it's really useful, it can be really dangerous too. Many of the criminals work on the internet to get their victims. Social media. Unfortunately, social media also plays an important role in these cases. People use fake profiles on social media to catch girls or boys, and as some examples, it would be like with those fan pages that we see on the internet and social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. So many of those profiles are just there to get information and get, girls, boys, or people in general to catch them. Also by putting fake profiles of jobs that they're offering, and and also all the information they get, they use against them, so that they can work for them. What happens when they get them? It would be good to say that all they do is get their victims and put them to work, even though that itself is so horrifying. But the victims have to do a training where they hit them if they don't obey them. And also they have a set of rules. The rules, people who recruit their victims or the kidnappers have rules. And one of them, and I think it's the most important for them, is that you try to escape, you die, you get killed, because they don't want you to share information that they're the ones who, have those girls. As a result of it, there are women's body found in the streets, in the sides of the roads, also men, but mostly women, because like I said, those are the most requested. Some victims are never rescued, and for those that do escape, it often takes years. Now, sex trafficking is the modern way of slavery, because it's just like they used before, they get those people from different countries to get them to work in different countries, and they also do that because the profit they get is 150 billion per year. Is that worldwide? So yeah, they just want easy money, and that's why they do that because they see that as something that they can get a lot of money without having to work hard. The victims end up with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and some people don't even get rid of that since there's things that they would see for those victims who do escape. It takes a long time to get over that, but they get triggered so easily when they see those or other women or other people in the streets, and so they do have a hard time living or trying to live with that. Sexual trafficking happens around the world, but Mexico is one example where countries tolerate these kind of things. And I'm not saying this because I wanted to add that. It's just something that it's real. In Mexico, there's a place called Tenancingo in Tlaxcala where it's just specifically for that. So they most of the people get the women's from there or kids, even kids and men. And people, even though they try to do something, it's a minority that try to do justice for that. But there's a huge majority of people who, those people who are foreigners, they go there because they know that that's the place where they are gonna find whatever they are looking for, and they also get those women to get them to other countries, not just in Mexico, but those Mexican girls that were kidnapped, they also are being taken to other places. And at the end of the day, we should not be judgmental with the people we see in the streets, those who are in lines waiting for a man or for someone, because at the end of the day, there is danger in the streets. And those people didn't choose to be there. They didn't choose to have the life they have, and they are living. And I think we should be aware of that also because those girls who are younger, they also have a future just like us. They could be future daughters, future nurses, teachers. They can be, it's the future of this world, and this future is being taken by those people who just, want to take money too. So, yeah. That's very good. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? What do you teachers this topic? Very good. Well, this topic it was really hard to do, honestly. Um, because I think it's something really important that we should know. And I think, like I said, we are really judgmental towards them. Even myself, like I just used to look at them and be like, whoa, like why do they work hard? They just want to be there because, they get money, right? But what we know is that those younger girls, they are like me. And even normal people like us could be living that life and we are not like careful. And even though I know this topic is like really well known, but they don't do something to try to stop this just because, like I said, even sometimes the government is involved in that because as you see, there's a lot of money out there. So that's why I choose that because I think, yeah, I could be one of those. And to be honest, I'm really scared of that.
Daisy Molina has a question. What was something that you learned that surprised you a lot?
There were a lot of things, but I think like it was the fact that there's places in Mexico where they know that they're being, kidnapped and taken by their families, and they still, the government doesn't do anything. Like I don't know what's like kind of like I don't even know how to explain like how I feel about that. So that's just like because I used to live in Mexico, right? So it's just so surprising that back in Mexico, I didn't know nothing about this, and that there's this place where they have girls and boys, and they are not doing basically anything, and some of them die. So I was so surprised about that.
Now that you study this, like how can you see yourself getting involved and trying to help staff and where do you see yourself?
Like I said, I'm really scared. I'm one of those parents who goes in the streets and is just looking around because I'm nervous that something's gonna happen, right? I feel like there's also other women just like me, and I see myself maybe I would say like I would use disinformation, but just to spread it out, not only through social media, but for my family and the people that I know, so that they could be like more careful. Because like I said, even though people try to do something, there's not really like a huge percentage that care about that. So I would like to let people know what they can do about that, so that we could try to stop that.
What's the do you have any ideas or what you think would be the solution? Like what do you think? How do we stop it?
I think so. I don't remember from who I heard this, but if we're trying to stop something, we gotta stop it from the root. And so for this kind of things, it's hard because there's a lot of people, who are the buses, and not only in Mexico but around the world. And also people like normal people like us are using those women to have, sex and stuff like that. They don't know that they're doing that. So um I think something that we can do to stop that is just like trying to let people know like the really important things about that, and that they're suffering. Like those are human like us. They're not like a toy or something they can play and pay to, be with them. So I think that's something or the least that we can do or I can do. Mm.
Okay, so that brings us to the closing of this evening. Gracias a todos por estar aquí con nosotros y también gracias a todos que nos vieron también virtual. Gracias. ¿Cómo se siente si ya pasó?